Okay, good morning. We're we're practicing again, and I just want to give you some notes, something that you can write down, something that you can hang your hat on, something that you can look at a picture and understand what it is you're supposed to be doing right now. Um, there are a few types of problems that you're going to see on your homework today, and I want to make sure that we touch on each type of problem as they arise. We learned that a secant is a line that touches a circle in two places, right? It creates 2 points on a circle, and it's not the diameter. Um, and then we learned that when we mix secants, tangents, and they intersect, there are certain things. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about the first one. If they intersect inside a circle, if you have two secants, I'm going to say there's one here and then one here, and they intersect inside the circle, then to find angle measures, all right? If these are straight lines, then these two angles are vertical angles and they're going to be congruent. All right, we already knew that. You have to bring that prior knowledge into this game. So if I want to know what this angle measure is, I'm going to say that that angle measure is half the sum. So, apparently I like to write. So if they intersect inside, then it's half the sum of the two arcs that are created here. And I'm going to mark those arcs right now. And what I'm going to do is this video talking about this type of problem, and then I'll create some more videos to talk about the rest. So this is the first type of problem that you're going to see with an interior intersection. So we'll call this angle A just for fun. So I'm going to say that the measure of the angle is 1/2 the sum of the arcs. All right, and I'm just going to call it the sum because we're not talking about angle measure unless the angle measure's over here. So this would be angle A, and I'm going to say this is 40 and this is 70. All right, so the measure of angle A is equal to 1/2 the sum of 40 and 70. The sum of 40 and 70. All right, so we can put our 40 and 70 together and we'll get our 110. Rewrite it. So angle A is equal to 55 degrees. So this is 55, therefore that's 55. And that's how you solve the first type. You're going to have different iterations of that type of problem. Say, for instance, they give you the angle measure. They say it's 55 degrees, but they don't give you this angle out here. Well, then you just sort of input the information you know and solve from there. The one thing I caution you about is this 1/2 of a sum or difference. You can either distribute the 1/2, which makes things a little bit more difficult, or you can get rid of the 1/2 during the process. But we say that 55 degrees, because that's the measure of our angle, is 1/2 of 70 plus our unknown. Now, like I said, you can distribute the 1/2 and then do some math, and that works. So if you guys know how to do that, that's great. I like to get rid of fractions pretty much right away. And how do I undo a half? How do I make a half 1? Well, how many halves make a whole? And that's, 2 halves. So I'm going to multiply my half by 2, and that makes 1 whole. So I multiply by 2, therefore I have to multiply this by 2. And you're going to see things that you've already seen in the other problem. You're going to see a lot of numbers that are going to look like the problem before. So this 2 gets rid of this half, and 2 times 55 is 110. Well, we saw 110 was the original sum. 70 plus x, right? All right, well, let's go and get rid of our 70. And all we do is subtract 70 from both sides. And we have 40 equals x. So those are the two ways that they're going to put that up there. They will never just put an angle and have you guess, especially on this interior type problem. But that's how you solve problems when you have your secants intersecting inside the circle. It's, remember, the measure of the angle is 1/2 the sum of the two arcs that are created by those intersecting secants.